Hello to everybody watching, listening, and welcome back to Mechabellum. We're going macho here. We are going elite specialist. Come on, pick it. There. We are going to get elite specialist and we are going to get sledges rolling. A lot of sledges. We are going into a double-digit sledge-off with an opponent that is cost control and starts with sledges to begin with. I start with steel balls. I look at this board and I think, well, this sucks. This sucks hard. What choice do I have other than to drop level 2 crawlers and hope that I can get something done? But at the same time, this is about the least favorite that I have right now, and to make it even worse, my opponent invests into phoenixes. He has course control, he can spend that. Some crawlers here, the steel balls behind them, and arcs for chaff clear. Well, sucks to be an arclight here, there is no chaff. This is gonna be a bit of a theme for my opponent. I don't know if this is actually good as cost control specialist, but I guess it makes sense. You can use sledges as your chaff in a way. Don't think it's particularly insane though. Anyway, I look at this and yeah, I already hate it. This is not how I want to play the first round, not what I want to see there. Now, interestingly, sledges with cost control do 528 damage. These crawlers have 584 health. So the crawlers actually don't get one shot by the cost control sledges. What kind of nonsense is that? In any case, he wins the first round. No surprise there. I didn't even have a resemblance of anti-air, but I get it dropped. We have some marksmen here. And those marksmen into a board that has no chaff should be doing insane work. Because all they need to do is point at sledges and kill them. Same with arclights. All of that dies in one shot. Phoenixes too. Everything on my board gets killed, on my opponent's board gets killed by a single arclight shot, and it's worth being killed by a, not an arclight, by a single marksman shot. I sell the second pack of steel balls and go get some sledges instead. I guess it's a pretty good thing with elite. You can sell, like if you have a starting unit to sell, you can sell one in round number 1, you can sell one in round number 2, and then you're set to do some actually good plays in the next round afterwards. My opponent is investing into more sledges instead of chaff. He also picked the marksman, which is fair into my board. Well, honestly, not that much. Minus the marksman and the sledges, there's really only arclights to kill for them, but I guess marksman and sledge is a good combination. It's even better with chaff, but my opponent has none of that. Come on. Back to 1.0, just how I like it. This arclight got completely obliterated. Sledges are doing 1216 damage. I'm almost amazed how low the DPS of sledges is, and how much they can obliterate something if they can all shoot at it at the same time. Marksman gets rolled by the crawlers. Phoenixes get destroyed by the marksmen. These marksmen neutralize each other. And there's really only 2 sledges left under tower debuff. Tower degradation number 2 coming in. And then the marksman can do what it does best. Snipe things. Take out these sledges with one single hit. Each. Health bar's looking really good for round number 3. No player has lost any significant amount of health yet. We have a Wasp Swarm, we have Smart Arclights. If I still had Charge Shot without the Fire Rate debuff, I think I would have gone Charge Shot here and tried to maybe make this a carry arc game. I mean, elite, no chaff on the opponent's side. Just pick up a lot of Arclights, give him Charge Shot and watch him go. I do level these crawlers. By the way, my opponent got the attack upgrade here. And even so, 581, 584. Trawlers live on 3 HP if they're targeted by a level 1 sledge. By a sledge that has half the level of the crawler. With cost control but attack upgrade. That sucks. My opponent does drop a missile here, which is fair, I guess. It would have been worse if these were level 1 sledges, because they'd instantly get vaporized along with the crawlers. But they're level 2. Let's speed this one along. He adds more sledges and actually pulls my units to the outside. Now, he pulls everything to the outside, so the missile was not it. Let's just call it that. Unfortunately, just a single wasp heads for the tower, and the marksman turns around to ruin its day. Crawlers in the middle, really uncontested right now. These crawlers, the first unit of chaff that my opponent has, just pushes through, goes towards the marksman, who dies before the crawlers even reach it. And, yeah, tower debuff incoming. My opponent has exactly one unit of chaff, and it's making a huge difference in this game, because of the pulls to the flank. I also get a tower, and under that tower, my units are just way stronger than my opponent's. 2 wasps here can take out the phoenix before the marksman can even get even remotely into that area. Intensive training, shield, or nano repair kit. Given how we are going for sledges and tank, and I'm not going to have the money to level units further with already playing a match with elite, I think this is not worth it. I pick the nano repair kit. My opponent, I think, picks the... Did he pick the intensive training? I think he picked intensive training, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here it is. I start selling off the arc lights. They are actively useless here. And I need to do something about this unit of chaff that has been bad for me. My opponent drops level 1 arc lights here. I guess those are to help against these crawlers? I'm not entirely sure. I do drop some sledges in the middle, and I'm thinking to myself, well, this is gonna solve the crawler issue, right? Well, the marksmen, once more, they go to town against these sledges. My own sledges have a lot of fun, but it pulls my army apart. However, all of my sledges lock onto opponent sledges, and these sledges are level 3 into my level 2 sledges. Now, these are cost control sledges, so they are not as good as normal level 3 sledges, but by the time the dust settles, my sledges are gone, and there's crawlers heading to my towers again. I guess lesson next time is put them further into the back, into the rear of the board. I get steamrolled here. When the only pack of crawlers your opponent has is on your marksman, you know that you messed up hard. Incendiary is coming out. Do I incendiary for 1 pack of crawlers? I think the answer is gonna be no. These sledges almost leveled. I really would have loved it if they could have gotten 50 more XP, but it was not meant to be. I skip this one. I don't see a purpose in breaking mass-produced sledges when I already have 4 level 2 sledges on the board and my opponent probably has neither. I don't even know what he decides to do here. I took some levels, sold another arc light so far. What are you gonna pick? He skipped. Okay. Makes sense. He gets mech rage on his sledges. With that amount of sledges, definitely a worthwhile investment. I also upgrade my sledges, but I'm getting range. Range first on the sledges should hopefully help me clear some chaff here. I do decide to drop another pack of sledges in at the site, or on the site, and I'm hoping that I can kind of get rid of my opponent's sledges and still hold off the crawlers here. Range sledges, I think, are better than mech rage sledges, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's just because my sledges are also more powerful. Now I have some sledges left to help clear that chaff, so it's no longer that big of an issue. And sledges on the side can help clear that chaff because they have the range to intervene. Meanwhile, now my crawlers are on my opponent's marksmen. And yeah, that is absolutely amazing. I still have some sledges left over to help clear these crawlers. And then the marksman should be able to clear everything out pretty nicely. Unfortunately, he gets one of my marksmen. That's gonna level his sledges. But it was kinda unavoidable. The sledges and the marksman have very similar range at this point. Fortresses drop a natural predator to sledges, because sledges don't have all that much damage. I decide, well, You know, the good old days, Sledge Overlord was an actual combo because Overlords were like S tier and Sledges were A tier, something like that. And fortunately, I want to say Overlords got nerfed a bunch of times. They fire, like, I think it used to be like 3.5 seconds to fire, and they used to do more DPS. Yeah, they got, their clearing capabilities got nerfed a good amount. Most other things, I think, stayed the same, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I think maybe also Waspawn got nerfed. Oh no, the Overlord Artillery got nerfed. That I know. At this point, with that level in Marksman, or these levels in Marksman, I decide to drop Elite instead of Range. Now they will keep a fair distance to the sledges. Some more crawlers because I'm out of money for this round. My investments were very expensive. My opponent has decided to drop all the chaff that he didn't before. And his sledges now have an advantage over mine. They have mech range and range. Now, there is something to be said about the sledges that I have compared to my opponent. No, there's actually two things to be said. First of all, my opponent is cost control against Elite. My sledges have the same stats as usual. My opponent's sledges are by nature weaker. At the same time, we also have a difference in techs. My opponent runs almost the same, but instead of... he has armor enhancement instead of armor-piercing bullets. I know that many people like to run either armor or heal on their sledges. Meanwhile, Chaff once again wrecks me because I don't have enough clear here. I know that many people do actually run the armor, but I don't actually like it. Like, it helps a little bit, but in the end, the things that kill sledges are usually things with big single target or big AoE damage. Say, Scorpions, Fortresses, Overlords, that kind of stuff. Marksmen. They don't really care if the sledges heal that much unless the level disparity is insane. So I decide to just not take that. And they also don't care about armor. I decide to drop the Wasps here. It will distract all of these units. I don't expect them to get in at any point. I did also drop some crawlers here, but sledges turned around and got to them. I'm not sure if they would have done that without range, but I guess I have nothing in front. My opponent took Missile Device Specialist. I took Junior Manufacturing. And as my second tech, I chose EMP. Because it will make all my opponent's tanks infinitely inferior. And they already are inferior. I also now decide to drop some more sledges on this side because I want these crawlers gone. I want them gone. Gone. And then I'm struggling with what should I even take. I decide to take range on the marksmen so that they can basically just stand there and start shooting. Maybe what I should have done is instead mass recruited myself another pack of sledges like on this side or something. My opponent now has fortresses with range. Those will actually stay behind the sledges, even if it's only by 5 meters. The sledges are faster, I think. Yeah. Sledges are 11 meters. I completely forgot mech range, yeah. But even without, they are 7 and the fortresses are 6. So the sledges, especially with mech range, are gonna stay in front. This flank is still accomplishing absolutely objectively nothing. But my opponent's units here have been distracted, so they are not shooting my sledges first thing in the morning. Should be fine, right? I have a good amount of sledges left. My opponent does have delayed chaff, and I don't have that many sledges on this side. They're kind of occupied shooting at a fortress, but they are combined with the marksman doing so much damage, it's actually killing that fortress pretty quickly. I still have sledges left over, and the marksmen keep getting fortress kills. They are scary with the elite. They are doing 11,000 here, 17,000-ish here. Yeah, those will kill a fortress in a heartbeat. They also have range, which completely outclasses my opponent's upgrade-less marksman. Phoenix turns around just to hit some sledges. And it's actually not looking all that bad. If I can get the sledges out of here, I might actually win the round, but the fortress is kinda too fast, and the sledge kills the tower. That is the nail in the coffin. Even without it, I think it would not have been enough.